Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Hakodash, and double honor to the apostles, bishop, elders at GMS. Shalom to you, brothers that's preaching and teaching His truth in sincerity across the four winds of the earth. And real brief, I want to go into this. I know a lot of brothers and stuff, of course, have went into it. But I want to talk about it, and I want to play some of this news clip. Now, I haven't watched this whole thing. So I was going to make a video about it a couple of days, but I just didn't get around to it. So now I'm doing it now. About the whole King Charles, Prince Charles, whatever his name is. Right. Talking about in the UK how they're rolling out the digital ID. Right. So I'm going to play that part where he says that because I believe they play it at the beginning of this thing. But I want to go into what these newscasters are talking about. And like I said, I haven't watched this full thing, but I got to around the 2-minute mark. And we're just going to go into it because we know that the time is coming. Right. Esau is running out of time. Right. The Lord is on his way back. Right. We got a lot of prophecies and things going on with Iran and China and Trump and doing all these things. Things are moving. Time is moving fast. Things are speeding up. Right. And we're getting closer and closer to the very end. Right. Leading up to the Lord coming back, World War III, so on and so forth. But we're watching the steps that they're taking to get to these points. Right. And something I've been saying a lot recently is about, I don't know the guy's name, but I keep quoting it a lot because he made a very great point. Right. It's called the totalitarian tiptoe. Right. And one thing that he says is if you know the outcome, you'll see the journey. You see, and we know what the outcome is that they're trying to accomplish, right? Which is chipping everybody, crashing the dollar, making everything go into this new digital age, right? So where you can easily be tracked, identified, watched, listened to, monitored, right? And now they have a thing rolling out in 2027 where these vehicles are going to be mandated, right, to have some form of AI so we can monitor your driving, monitor if you're angry, listen in on the conversation, so on and so forth, right? And then they're going to be able to shut down the vehicle, pull it over, or make it not start, or make certain functions not work, or whatever the case may be. And we know what this all is going towards, what it's all leaning to, right? So that's why it's very important that we do see the outcome, right? We see the outcome. So if we see the outcome, we're going to know exactly the journey and the steps that are going to take to get to that point. So that's why it's very important that we keep watching these things, right, as everything is starting to take place. Because things are moving fast, man. Right? Things are moving very fast. Right? But we all know that this is the Lord's will, that he's doing this, that he's putting in the minds of these people to do this, of to that. Right? And let's actually get that scripture real fast. And bear with me. I just did a video about her. And I was just finding a picture for a thumbnail for her. Let's see here. Let's do this. I know it's in Proverbs. King's heart. Oh, how does that scripture go? Oh man, how does it? Let's see. The king's heart. Hand in the hand of the Lord. Yeah, I know it's Proverbs. All right, cool. Proverbs 21 and 1. 21. Proverbs 21 verse 1. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. It says, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. You see, so the Lord has these. He's stirring up these kings' minds to do this, to say this, to enact this law, and to do these things to forward his will. Right. So we understand that eventually they're going to come down with great wrath, but that's all the will of the Heavenly Father. We have to understand these things in the time to come. because the squeeze is getting ready. We talk about the downfall, how we're happy, we're almost out of here. The Lord's getting ready to come back, deliver his people, so on and so forth. But you understand that we're going to be caught up in this, right? When the economy shuts down and everybody starts losing jobs, we're going to be affected by those things. And that's where full-on trust and faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to come in. And I just made a video about that yesterday, saying there's no other option for us to lean on but into trust in the Lord. And the Lord has it like that on purpose, right? You have these people changing up doctrines, changing up everything when we're coming to the end, right? But you siding with the enemy is not going to get you anywhere, because at the end of the day, the enemy is going to turn on you. You see, so you think you changing the doctrine, getting the money just to start teaching these weird doctrines and say these wayward things and all this thing and all this stuff. It's just like, that's not going to get you anywhere. You see, you selling out and doing all that shit now for what reason? You see, these people, it's just like, you don't think, it's just like, why? But everybody has their own motive. People want to do it for money, fame, clout. Some people want their glory now. You see, and all of it, man, is we're going to find out who the true men of the Lord are. Right? So without further ado, let's play the video. All right.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
My ministers all...
This was in response to the King's speech, which was an address written by the government to outline its upcoming priorities, which doesn't necessarily reflect King Charles' own opinions. Let's take a listen.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
What say you?
Hey, did you hear me snort? This is something ridiculous about, like, watching an actual king in an actual crown and cape talking about
okay, listen, I have enough British friends that I understand.
Interest in the royal family is frankly so baffling.
But it just is something. And so it's something that you can't relate to as an American and you're distant from. But people there take it very seriously, as one of my good British friends explained. So I kind of laid off the perspective that doesn't make sense to me because it's not our culture, our experience, our country.
I mean, I have no problem with a system where the head of state who does like ceremonial visits is separate from the political leader of the state. Ours, unfortunately, is the same person, so which creates a lot of headaches. I think it's, Israel has a president and a prime minister. England has a king and a prime minister. That can be fine. So I don't really mind that.
You don't like the outfit specifically?
Well, no, actually, I love the outfit. It's so cool. But then he's talking about like digital ID, which a policy I totally oppose.
He's just reading it though. It says it doesn't represent the royal family's opinions. He's just reading it out loud. He's literally just like the orator. So you know what? For somebody who
squeamish,
I just want to make sure, for somebody who likes quick security, right? You like to get through lines quickly. You like to hurry up, and you want to get rid of TSA. I can't understand how the digital ID doesn't work for you. You should be a huge fan of this.
And the thing is, Jake doesn't think ahead of time. You don't understand what country you're in, who these people are. So of course, in your eyes, it's not a bad idea because you want to just do everything is about quick access, convenience in America. You want everything now, here now. I need to order this, it needs to be here. That's why you got people that go in these restaurants and fast food lines. They don't have their food in the first 5 minutes. They in there fighting workers, right? Throwing sandwiches, jumping on counters, elbowing people. They doing all that because it's all about convenience and fast, and we need to now. That's the vibration and the spirit that America's under. You see, so you're used to having everything at your comfort and this and that. You hate waiting for things, and some things require patience. Some things require you to wait. You see, so she's on the side of you live in this greatest country in the world, and you can't see the bad side of them doing that. Just like how that video when Trump had them, what was it, National Guard or ICE or whatever he had when they were in them states. It was a one Jake that made a video and was like, yeah, man, I like it here. I can walk around with my chain on. I don't have to look behind my back, and I can do this. I can walk through the street. Somebody do something to me, I'm just gonna yell and all this other stuff. It's like you don't see the bad that can come from that. You don't see the outcome. You don't see how everything is moving towards the digital age. They're putting a squeeze on the people. Trump is literally coming out on the news with these interviews and telling people about when this war is happening. He does not give a flying F about you people, what you think. It's like, Jake, you just focus on the surface level. It's like, how do you live in a country like this and you don't ask no questions about the stuff that's going on? You see, it's like you sit here, you watch this stuff, and it's just like, ooh, okay, how benefit can that be? Will there be benefits to certain aspects? But it's like, you know what we know, what these people don't know. We know what they're trying to do, and this is the step towards that direction. All these so-called assassinations, attempt on Trump, and every little so-called crisis that you see going on, there's a plan behind it. That's them inching forward. That's the totalitarian tiptoe that they're doing. They're going from they're going from A to B. They might skip a letter. They might go to B to D. Might skip, see if they can get away with it, but then lay low for a little bit. Point the finger at a nigga. And then now we're at D. Now we're going to go to E. Slow down a little bit. But their whole point is to get everybody chipped. The whole point is to crash the dollar. They need catalysts. They need events. They need things to get worse, so they can come in like the savior and be like, well, since gun crime is getting out of control, well, now we need digital surveillance on everybody, so now we can quickly identify somebody. We can quickly identify, go through their social medias and their text messages and do all these things, so we can quickly identify them, so we can stop the crime before it happens. You see, that is it. They're doing everything in the name of safety, peace and safety. So they cause all this havoc on the earth, and then they come in like the Superman and be like, see, well, this is why we need to do this. So you people are willingly giving over your rights and not like it's a fight. So it's not like they're just like, hey, okay, everybody, we're going to take away the Second Amendment. You can't bear guns anymore. No more firearms. People would have a riot. People will throw a fit. People will riot, go storm the Capitol. All these things would happen. So what did they do to make you just hand over your rights? Is constantly let's have Trump get assassination attempt. Let's have these school shootings. Let's have these mass shootings. Let's get these crisis actors in place. And then let's point the finger at somebody. You see? It's like, so that's what's going on here. But you just see the benefit of your ass don't have to wait in line at an airport. They can just scan your face and now you can just walk through. That's how far the American people brain goes. And that's the side that she's stemming from. But like I said, this is the part where I stopped it at. So let's keep on listening.
Specifically because of all the complaining you do about the old school ways to check things out and check people's backgrounds. This is an expedited process, a streamlined process that I would think you would enjoy based on all of your arguments.
Oh, when I go through airport security, I have a paper ticket.
Why?
For my flight every single time.
Okay, Grandpa.
You think I'm going to rely on what? Every time you go to show something, the app's not working or the app's down or blah, blah, blah. Or you have to update it. Always have
Do you
to
like
update
streamlined
it.
processes or not?
I like to show physical paper copies.
So you like to take a long time in the TSA?
No, I take less time than them because they're trying to point oh, we got to increase the brightness of the phone. No, I just zip right through.
But you said you prefer if it was like a concert venue and somebody just like winded you down and kept it moving because you think TSA is useless.
Yeah.
So I would say that part of that would be if everybody had a digital ID.
Private entities can compel whatever level of security.
She might more than likely be juiced in, so she's going to defend it. Or she's just a dumb news host that just has that blindly trust in the American government. Right? Or it could just be both. You're juiced in and you're dumb enough to follow them. But we gonna find out.
Think is appropriate or whatever form of identity they think is appropriate. I don't
because
think
when the deal goes down, everybody and everything is going to be affected by this.
Establish another additional centralized database for thought control. I mean, I don't trust the way the UK will use this. Absent the First Amendment, they'll use it to screen people for telling jokes online about minorities, and they'll throw them in prison, as they have on numerous occasions.
So, you know what has always been so interesting
Maybe
to
I trust
me?
it here more.
There you go. He's smart.
I trust it there.
Or he can be controlled the opposition. Like we need somebody with these news anchors, man. You have to just be careful with them, right?
Like Ron DeSantis, he can jump into foreign politics if he wants to, but we are so entrenched in what the UK decides to do for the UK, and it's really baffling to me about how riled up people get about what the UK is doing for itself.
And you don't think that they're doing it there? You don't think that it's going to come here? You understand that when things start to get implemented in the earth, it always happens in another country first before it comes to America, man. Americans is just so used to being untouched, and that's why it's called the virgin daughter of Babylon. You people are so used to being untouched and unscathed, and everything is just peace and this and that. that you think you're just watching other countries do these things and you don't think America's going to do that? Trump was just over there in China talking to the president. He had all the technocrats there. Elon Musk, he had Tim Cook, I believe that's an Apple CEO. Right? He had all these big CEOs of these tech companies. Why were they all there? Why do you need to be involved in foreign politics? What information can come from them? Because China already has that credit system, that AI, all that stuff. They have that stuff going on over there. So of course Trump is gonna go over there to try to learn, get deals, and trying to get some technology and information on how to run this and that. So now they can implement it here, because time is of the essence, as people say. They don't have that long, man. So now the ball is rolling. They're going to ready to move. And Trump is already starting to speak. They're going to speak as a dragon. It's going to come, but it's already started. When he's telling you people, this, I don't care about you people, the American situation, because this is what's happening. That's speaking as a dragon. That's letting you know. That, look, obviously the gas and the prices going up due to the Strait of Hormuz being closed and all these things. Obviously, that he doesn't care about any of that, because his main priority and focus is on this war. So whatever the problems that this war causes, you people just gonna have to figure it out and deal with it.
They want to have digital ID. If they want to work around the First Amendment, which they don't have, and operate as a country that is autonomous from the U.S., why do we get so panties in a bunch about the decisions that they are making? It's like every time a new law comes out, I can't believe, okay, we don't have to. They're our ally, not us. They're not going to magically spill into the U.S. that has a constitution totally different from anything they govern.
And see, there you go. You realize they're going to do away with the Constitution. They're going to do away with your rights. You don't even have really rights now, but they give you that illusion that you do. You see, like you feel so protected by your so-called liberties and Constitution. The Constitution says this. Do you think they give a F about that Constitution, man? You people are just right for the taking.
So why are we so concerned with if they have digital IDs? We don't. I know it's been proposed. It hasn't become rule of the land. What is the like?
All right, fine. Why do we care? The Chinese imprison all the Uyghurs. Why do we care? The Russians are trying to erase Ukraine.
Is digital ID the same thing as like the warfare that we're talking about,
or like we don't care about anything
harming its own people?
I don't know.
Well, America First people agree that we would care about America. Americans first.
I'm not even saying we're going to do anything about it. I'm just expressing opposition to it.
Okay, fine.
And I mean, the policy impact is that Trump and J.D. Vance should use what leverage they have on behalf of American tech companies to oppose this sort of thing being forced on them.
There are privacy and surveillance concerns, but the U.S. has its own privacy and surveillance concerns. I mean, they're voting on whether they want to extend them or not. Yeah, right now. So it's really interesting pointing the finger. If Trump and J.D. Vance want to say, don't do this, our government is spying on folks with information they're not supposed to be using to spy on folks. Right. Actively right now and trying to change that law, and it's not being agreed upon by Congress right now. But we're worried about a digital ID that hasn't been misused when we're actually misusing data right now.
It hasn't been implemented yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We're worried about something in the future that hasn't even been implemented, and we're actually implementing strategies to spy on folks right now.
The policing of people on social media is very robust in the UK and in the rest of Europe. People have faced fines and even jail time for insensitive, inflammatory speech that, again, clearly protected here, not protected there. They do that. It's not good. And I think it will become more easy to do it because of the digital ID. So that's my fear.
Because your social media, everything will just be wrapped up into one. So when you scan your license, basically digitally, it's like, oh, this is the guy that feels this way on social.
It'll allow them to keep track of like, oh, Joe Smith's sound. See, we have a file on Joe Smith because we have his.
You know what? I don't agree with it, but it might cause people to watch their mouth a little bit. It might cause people to really behave appropriately. No, I'm just saying that people are out of line on social media.
You'd really enjoy North Korea.
People are out of line.
Nobody's out of line there.
No, I know. I said, even though I don't agree with it, I would appreciate if folks were a little bit
about your business
to one another online, wouldn't you?
Man, this nigga woman is stupid.
Prefer people were a little bit nicer. I mean, do you enjoy when people come at you sideways on X?
Their freedom and their
not because they feel for their freedom, but when you prefer people who were civilized, had civilized discourse online, like we're able to do every single day. Wouldn't you prefer if that was the dialogue of choice as opposed to you MF that wouldn't you prefer? No.
Like, what do you think? Well, they're getting ready to have everything linked in one. That's why everything is going digital. They want to see everything about you in one go. We don't need to Okay, we have your ID here, but now we got to go search you up. Now we got to go do this. No, they're going to have everything linked, everything all together in one. That's going to be on the chip. They're going to have your credit history, your bank information. You're not going to be able to buy or sell. And he literally said there's something that they didn't mention. It said how, let's play it.
Will also
This was in response to the King's speech, which was an address written by the government to outline its upcoming priorities, which doesn't necessarily reflect King Charles' own opinions. Let's take a listen.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
How citizens act with public services. None of that was talked about in this thing. She didn't mention that at all. That's something very important. So this is how people are going to interact with services. So now, if you don't have a update ID, if you don't have one of these things, you might not be able to get on the bus. You might not be able to take a train. You might not be able to even fly. You might still be able to buy stuff in here and there, but what you do in society is going to be limited. You might not be able to get a new driver's license. You might not be able to do this. You might not be able to do that. Like, that was a very important part on how they interact with services. You might not be able to clock in at work anymore. Now, this digital ID is not the mark of the beast, of course. Right? But we know that time is coming to where if you're not bowing the knee, right? If you're not taking the mark, which is the Caragman, which is the microchip, if you don't take that, you're not going to be able to function in society. And it's starting. This is the process. They're not just going to be like, all right, chip mandatory, let's do it. No, they're going to roll it. The totalitarian tiptoe. They're going to slowly do things. And this nigga woman is just she's probably juiced in. So she is full-fledged for it. Because your ass don't want to wait that line at a TSA. And then the part that doesn't make, if everybody has that, even though they might checking your files and all this stuff might be quicker, it's still going to be a long ass line. You're at the airport. People are flying in, going places by the thousands. So yeah, it might be a little quicker than everybody have to scan a paper, then put your ID through a damn scanner and all this shit. But you still gonna be waiting. You make it seem like everybody got digital ID. Now you on TSA, you on there 10 seconds, and you getting ready to board the plane. Now you ready to no. It's like Jake only focus, or not just Jake. It's like people only focus on the surface level on the good that things can do. You don't ever think outside the box and be like, well, these people that's in rulership and power, they don't seem like they have our best interests. So let me think just about what bad can come from it. And he's on the side of, right? He's on the side of, okay, yeah, I don't think they're going to use it for good. But that's it, man. Right? I just wanted to touch on that situation and talk about it because it's just like time is moving, man. And like I said, I wanted to go into it when I seen because the first person I seen was Elder Manasseh Zagba uploaded. But this is important, man. This is very important times. Times is getting real, man. Right? They're getting ready to put the squeeze down. They're going to force you to need them. And that's when we're going to have faith. That's where we're going to have faith and trust in the Lord that he's going to get us through whatever situation. Right? So that's it, man. Shalom.